At SIDRA, we wanted to find out how businesses make decisions about resolving their cross-border commercial disputes. So, we asked them. We conducted an international survey with respondents from 46 countries, both common law and civil law countries, and we followed this up with one-on-one interviews. There are 5 aspects of the SIDRA survey that make it unique. First, it's 100% user-centric. We were interested in the user experience, so we surveyed legal users, for example, external lawyers representing clients in dispute resolution, and also the corporate decision makers and in-house counsel, the client users as well. Second, we focused on the user experience and not just their preference. So everybody who answered in terms of their experience with dispute resolution mechanisms. Third, we focus on cross-border or international dispute resolution as distinct from domestic dispute resolution. Why? Because different considerations go into dispute resolution when you're looking at the international setting. Fourth, we recognise that dispute resolution occurs within an ecosystem. So the survey doesn't just focus on one dispute resolution mechanism, such as arbitration or litigation or mediation. Right? We asked people about their experience across the board of dispute resolution mechanisms, and we also look at hybrid or mixed mode dispute resolution as well. Finally, the survey has been distributed in the 6 languages of the United Nations. Why? Because we wanted to hear from as broad and diverse a demographic as possible. So Michael, here in 2021, after more than a year of the pandemic and most of us going online, at least in part, to manage our disputes, there are some mixed reactions coming out of the SIDRA interviews about people's experiences of mediating, arbitrating and litigating online.
I think part of the answer to that is that we've tried to emulate what we were doing before the pandemic using the technology. And what we haven't done is actually sat down and said, how do we adapt what we do to use the technology better?
I was talking to an arbitrator recently, and I think it was a revelation to him. He said he was doing a regular arbitration using one of the readily available social communication platforms, and he had a million ideas about how to restructure the arbitration procedure that he was conducting in order to make it much more efficient.
I think that's exactly right. We're used to having a single hearing over a period of a week or 2 weeks, 8-hour, 10-hour days. Why aren't we rethinking that and taking into account that you have fatigue of looking on the screen? We also have to think about how we are presenting ourselves, and we need to become actors for the camera, not for the stage any longer. And so there's an adaptation of how we do it, how we do cross-examination has to change, etc. So there's a complete change needed in how we think about running a hearing.
So we need to rethink how we do what we do to get the same or better results when we're using technology. The SIDRA survey showed, which probably comes as no surprise, that especially with litigation and arbitration, there was a high dissatisfaction with costs. So what are some ways to deal with that?
One of the ways of addressing the cost issue is to involve a third-party funder. Now that takes care of 2 issues. One is who is paying those costs, and so you get someone who is outside of the organization funding the whole litigation. The other part of it is that you're bringing in someone whose full-time job is to do litigation and arbitration. And so you get the benefit of them helping manage your costs.
So my understanding is that while third-party funding has been around in some parts of the world for a long time, it's fairly new in Asia and is emerging here now. And in the next rollout of the survey, we'll be asking our users about how they use third-party funders and what their experience has been.
I think that's a great area to start exploring because the legislation has recently changed in Asia as to the legality of using third-party funders. And obviously a number of them have set up here in Singapore.
So in terms of hybrid processes, when mediation and arbitration are used together, the survey gave us some positive news. Users seem to be interested in using hybrids to get the best of both worlds, direct enforceability mechanisms and a process that focused on business relationship. But then when we conducted the interviews, a number of users indicated some uncertainty or even reluctance to embrace the use of hybrid dispute resolution mechanisms. What's your take on that?
I think there's been some difficulties that users have encountered with the mechanisms that they've put in place. Some of them have found themselves in an endless loop at lower levels of the process without being able to escalate higher to resolve problems. So they've found themselves a little bit caught in the dispute resolution mechanism. So I think the users need to be very careful about how they craft those levels and that they use the simpler processes to solve the easier problems, but allow themselves the escape route to escalate in a timely manner.
The SIDRA Survey 2020 received over 300 responses from across 46 jurisdictions. This year, we hope to receive responses from lawyers, legal advisors, in-house counsel, and corporate executives with experience in international dispute resolution. The survey will close on 16 May and is available in the 6 UN languages. We look forward to your invaluable contributions and in you contributing to the thought leadership in international dispute resolution.